Good morning. My name is Mariam Akinlolu from Mangosutri University of Technology, Durban, South Africa. And the title of my presentation is on ethical behavior in construction industry. Okay, so the first question we ask is that, does the construction industry have an ethics dilemma? The construction industry has been found to be one of the most corrupt industries in any sector in the economy. And studies on ethical behavior in the public sector, such as construction industry in South Africa, has been neglected because majority of the studies on ethics have only focused on the business environment and the private sector. So corruption presents one of the greatest threats to sustainable development and pervades all sectors of the social, civil, and political society. So because of the complex nature of the construction industry, which results from numerous levels of bureaucracy, opportunities for project delays, cost overruns, and high competition for contracts, all these things have made the sector vulnerable to unethical behavior. Examples of unethical behavior in the construction industry have been found to be favouritism, nepotism, money laundering, extortion, and bribery. So the aim of our study was to investigate the status and practices of ethical behavior in the South African construction industry. And then we also sought to examine and test significant differences between demographic groups on their experience of unethical behavior in the South African construction industry. In the study, we sampled 135, we conveniently sampled 135 South African construction professionals in the KwaZulu-Natal province of South Africa, and self-administered questionnaires were distributed to the potential participants, which were drawn from available listings of professional contractors and consultants in the KwaZulu-Natal province of South Africa. So the respondents represented in the study included architects, structural engineers, and quantity surveyors. And from the 135 self-administered questionnaires that were distributed, 96 were returned to us, which was made up of 63 contractors and 33 consultants. So respondents were, we sought to investigate the respondents' experience of unethical behavior and activities in construction industry on a 5-point Likert scale, ranging from never to always. So several forms of unethical activities exist, and then engaging in unethical behavior could result in the acceptance of favors or benefits. And these benefits can be in form of gifts, money, while others could be in form of nepotism, favorism, money laundering, conflict of interest, and so on. So from the list of unethical activities that were given, we found that many of the respondents agreed with the list of unethical activities presented. And then it shows that the respondents ranked sexual harassment the highest, followed by favorism and discrimination. Other activities that were also considered as unethical, as revealed in literature, were corruption, fraud, bribery, and extortion. Most of the respondents had also showed that they had witnessed sexual harassment, favorism, discrimination, fraud, corruption, bribery, and extortion. And evidence from this survey showed that unethical behavior is pervasive and is an accepted practice within the construction workforce in South Africa. Then we further went on to identify which group of construction professionals experienced these unethical activities the most using a non-parametric Mann-Whitney-U test. And then the group of respondents were categorized under contractors and consultants. So this table shows that in the test of statistics in contractor and consultant experiences of unethical activities, the test revealed that there was no significant difference between both groups, further indicating that there was no variance in the responses of contractors and consultants. Then we further went on to ask the respondents to rank how important they regarded a list of factors or influences on ethical behavior in construction industry. So this table shows that respondents placed most importance on their own contribution to group behavior and norms when those in management and supervisory positions conducted themselves ethically. They also showed that their dealings with others when those in management and supervisory positions conducted themselves ethically influenced ethical behavior. They also showed that the willingness of managers and supervisors to learn from their experiences influence ethical behavior, and that good examples set by managers and supervisors also influenced ethical behavior. It was also revealed that the ethical dynamics of supervisory and managerial influences was much stronger than that of inner personal values or attitudes, or most especially direct line peers. Then we further subjected the ranking of the ethical behaviors, the influences of ethical behaviors to the Mann-Whitney-U test to test for significant differences between contractor and consultant groups on their perception of the importance of ethical behavior and influences. And findings showed that there was no statistically significant difference between both groups, indicating that there was no variance in the responses between the groups. So our study proposes that ethical practices in construction industry is very important, and that ethical practices such as honesty, which involves the presence of unethical practices like bribery, fraud, negligence, nepotism, favouritism is important, and that responsibility is also important, which involves responsible actions in design, policy framework, training and development, construction and implementation, also transparency in all activities conducted in construction industry, which involves responsiveness towards risk and cost, determine the ratio of quality against price, listing primary causes of rejecting or awarding a project, and improvements in reputation apparatus. The last one is accountability, which involves formalizing actions or behavior, creating sanctions for failure, enabling trust, incentives for efficient use of resources. So our study concluded that the construction industry in South Africa runs this gauntlet of media attention of state capture, corruption, and generally a whole list of unethical activities and practices. Our study also concluded that to obtain maximum benefit in terms of economic contribution of the construction industry for the country's development, it is important to ensure that ethical behavior is practiced. The study showed that there are significant loopholes regarding ethical behavior, indicating that limited interventions have been put in place to address unethical behavior and practices in the construction industry. The study further showed that current structures that have been put in place to combat unethical behavior which leads to corruption have been found to be unsustainable and riddled with lack of accountability for the culprits. So Our study recommends that a quantitative analysis may be sufficient for the purposes of initiating understanding and awareness in this study, but that deeper examination in terms of in-depth qualitative research will further enhance and add substance to this relevant and important issue of ethics in the construction industry. Thank you.